I'm gonna come up with a topic. It's gonna be cool. I think the mic's too close to my face. We're gonna come up with a topic. It's gonna be great, and you think about doing stuff and things. Um, hmm, hmm, well, now, let's see if we can come up with this topic on time. Oh man. Oh. Think about um being absurd. What I talked about last time was pretty cool. I might do like a jet off or like a spin off of that or something like that. See if we could do a mission while I'm thinking about it. Um um That's really cool. I'm gonna do that. I like to think about what makes me I like to think about what makes me I don't know, feel better about myself sometimes. I like to think positively. Yeah. Awesome. And then within that positive thinking, uh, I don't know, within that thinking,
That's dumb luck right there. Nice try.
let's see here. I'm absent-minded as shit sometimes when it comes to actually coming up with a topic, but once I get going, I'm all about it. I'm all about that topic, not Tapico. Tapico is actually a wonderful drink that is off-brand from the usual brands, but still has a brand. It's like a Sunny Delight that's a little bit more nutritious. I think maybe has a little bit more sugar. I'm not exactly sure, but I drank it and it tasted like Sunny D, but with like a mango almost. So yeah, it's pretty good. I wonder where I'm supposed to go now.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna turn that off. Let me see here.
Dispatch, we have a visual. Moving in.
Man, only inch. Wheels off, God.
Suspect last seen in a silver sports car.
Huh. Let's see here.
My ride, dog.
I can't believe he did that to me. Now I have to take his car.
Man, I'm sorry, fool. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, okay. Let's see about, a thing. Let's go to the military base first. And then I'm gonna get that jet. Son.
Watch out, man.
Nice. Never mind. I like to think about, giving space. That's a good one. There are so many things that go through my head about the way that I feel, the way that I feel about a person, the way that I feel about a thing, the way that I feel about a situation. And within that situation, I call upon I see certain parts of myself, certain things that there's certain things that I would call normal, I guess, or not normal, or a situation where it calls for me to be not normal, I guess. I want that motorcycle, not this motorcycle. Got it. It's probably the same one, but it probably goes faster too. Yeah. The cheat one has a glitch on it, I think. Sons of bitches.
You are surrounded.
Dispatch, we have a visual.
Hey, look out for fools like me.
I don't know. I like to think that I like to think that I'm not too tired or too exhausting, I guess, because I don't do exhausting things sometimes. I do exercise, but I don't exercise every day. I don't try to exercise every day, and I realize that it takes a I mean, I exercise. I do like little tiny exercises, but I also realize that those exercises through I don't try to. I just burped. Yeah, it smells like garlic and tomato basil pesto. Tomato basil pesto. Stupid. Also, I've been sick, so that's probably the reason why I'm tired. But yeah. Still don't know what to talk about, but let's see, what should I talk about? What's a good thing to talk about? Let's see here. What are some universal talking points? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to come up with more content for my website that I'm creating. And for the business that I'm starting. I want to be able to create content for myself and be able to make lasting bonds with people who I think and feel would be good for my business and good for my career. So within those aspects of creating creating a name or some sort of thing for myself, I also want to create a character brand. I wanna be able to make sure that I'm not just relying on my friends or other people to be able to make sure that I'm coming up with complete and utter original content, which means I gotta scour the internet and scour every single aspect of every single thing to be able to, oh man, what's the word? To come up with new and original ideas, or what would seem as new original ideas, or new framework for that original idea, because that's what most original ideas are today, is the framework of it, or just maybe the scheming, I guess, of every idea. And also, scheming is not a bad word in some ways, because it's like a color scheme or and I'm not gonna come up with like completely distinct characters off the bat, probably, but I'm gonna try to come up with I'm gonna try to come up with new New ways to communicate. Wait. Oh wait. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm trying to come up with new ways to communicate across a broad spectrum of characters, or not just a broad spectrum of characters, but like, a spectrum of self and through other people's influence.
Oh, shit.
Because and I think that's the reason why a lot of ideas don't get across sometimes, or don't get across to some people, is they're put into a hibernation mode as soon as they come about, as far as their conceptualness, or their conception, not conceptualness, their conception. As far as their conception is, I don't know a lot of words. I'm not gonna say that I know a lot of words, but I'm also not gonna say that I know. Is that a tree in the air? Of what is that? That's weird. Woo!
We have a 996 at the Paula Springs Stanway.
But I'm also going to say that I know how to put words together sometimes, because I practiced on my own. I didn't really, like, use a whole bunch of different people to, like, bounce those things off of. But I don't know. People can say that my business, or what I want to start, isn't gonna happen, or isn't gonna do anything. I will accept their criticism, and also ask them why. Not call them a douchebag, or tell them that they're a mean person, or anything like that, because that's stupid. If you're starting a business, then you want criticism. You want to be able to build on that. You want to be able to be like, well, what do you think is a good idea? And then that person could be paid. I mean, if you're just starting a business out, but you can't, like, constantly get employees just because somebody says their opinion about something. I mean, you can, but then you'd run out of money.
Hey, my whip!
Shit. But yeah, like, but also too, I'm gonna have to realize that that not everyone is fit to give me critique, and I'm gonna have to pay someone that actually gives me critiques and tells me exactly what to do with my business, because of the things that have actually worked before. And sometimes through, I guess, personal opinion, I guess, is I'm gonna have to worry about the bots, I guess, too, and the I'm gonna have to worry about the bots, you know, because it doesn't It doesn't affect public opinion no matter what way it is, but people themselves kind of don't understand that that if they, I don't know, it's like some people look and seem like they're fake. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it is, but I don't. I've always been able to distinguish a real person's profile on something with a fake person's profile. I don't know what it gives me the ability to do that, but I think it's because I've been able to. I was actually a customer service rep for 10 years. Through what people would do with their drunken stupors or anything like that, or a drunken idiocy, they would do stupid things, and I would basically call them on it sometimes. Or not call them on it, but try to calm them down as much as possible and be able to be like, you know what, this is a good idea for you to just buy a drink and have a good time. And be a good person, because it's not a big deal. And I did security as well, but I mean, I guess I have rough experience in that, but I mean that's about 10 years. So, and also my mom raised me extremely well. And my dad tried to raise me as much as he could.
It was just the wrong number. Why were you going through my phone?
Although, I mean,
You don't fucking trust me?
I don't know. I just,
Tired of talking to you.
or as much as he felt like, I guess. There's got to be a bigger thing, though, when you look into a person's profile on their thing. There's got to be something that they live for, something that they work for, something that they strive for. If they themselves are truly trying to build an actual profile, they build it on a theme, and they don't just put emojis and then have like the same amount of pictures. They don't just put emojis everywhere. They don't just put emojis everywhere, unless they're trying to like make bots, basically, or fake profiles that are controlled by one entity. I don't know. I guess I try to check and see what the person likes. Like you look in your head and you think, what would I like if I was this person? If I was indigenous to the place that I was indigenous to, and this place where this person is from, what would I like to do? How would I like to do it? Where would I be? How would I do things? If I'm antisocial or introverted or extroverted or anything like that, as far as a societal, because that's a societal perception. Introverted and extroverted. I realized this and a lot of things over time. Actually, just going around and playing with the words. That introverted and extroverted really are just people who have been, I guess, people who've been messed with, people who have had trusting relationships. That's basically introvert and extrovert. People who have had trusting relationships and people who have been scorned. That's basically where you have to go in that whole thing, in that whole scheme of things. People who are afraid of losing someone, and people who aren't afraid but realize that that's a possibility, or in some cases an inevitability. In some cases, not all. Oh my god. Realizing that that there are so many preconceptualized notions of what you want to get as far as your business, or what you want to do as far as your business, how in depth you want to go with what you're making. I think that there are there were a certain number of life-altering experiences. A certain number of let's see. A certain number of life-changing experiences too. I say that there's a hefty notion of want, I guess, in a certain aspect of what I really want to do with myself. There's a hefty notion of what I really want to be as far as a person in this world, as far as what I want to get out of life and how I want to be able to be known. It took me a while to be able to come up with this process, or this this notion of self-interest, and I'd say getting to know a certain part of myself, and getting to know a certain part of myself in these through these experiences, knowing the way that I would knowing the way that I would experience life, and knowing a perfect notion of
Oh my god! Ah, crap! That hurt.
or not a perfect notion, but a progressive notion of being better at what I do. And not only being better at what I do, but being better at some of the best situations for me. Realizing that there are better situations for
Look out the way!
there are better situations for what I want to do with myself. And also making sure that those situations don't slip out of my grasp. Before I'm able to realize a certain goal, to be able to create something from scratch, and to be able to not just say that I made it, but to say that I basically I created something. And through certain notions of that creation, I am able to make a within a better understanding within a better understanding be able to create create a better
This don't make no fucking sense.
to be able to create a better standing notion of what I really want to do for myself. What I really want to create for myself. What I really want to make, and what I don't want to use as an excuse anymore.
Hey.
Within certain notions, be able to create a safe space for myself, and be able to create a safe place for what I really want to do, and how I absolutely want to express myself as an artist and as a person. And that's what I want to do.
This is a no-fly zone. Divert your course.
I really think that the notion of what I really want to do for myself, it stands true, and I really think that not only painting or drawing or anything like that, but creating new ideas and trademarking them and being on top of what I really want to do for myself, creating merchandise and doing a whole bunch of different stuff, and creating ideas that can be able to have that merchandise be sold in a way that I myself can be happy and proud to say that I created. And that's why it's going to take probably at least 10 years until I start to actually feel comfortable with myself, or with an ability to be able to feel a notion that makes me feel like I'm getting better at what I do. And I'm gonna go do a mission now. There are notions of self-confidence and self-assurance that I think are are in what I want to do with my business and with what I want to be able to create. And it sounds like I'm putting a bunch of hot water or no, hot air, blowing a bunch of hot air up a bunch of people's noses. And my breath doesn't smell the best right now, so it's probably gonna stink because it smells like garlic, and also tomato basil pesto, sour cream, and tuna fish. And I think that what I want to be able to derive that that push or that drive from what I want to be able to make for myself as a person of interest in this. God damn it. In this world, and trust me, I don't do all this stuff just to make other people feel as though they could buy my product. I feel like if I'm gonna create a product, if I'm going to create something, then I'm not going to I just found out that one of my characters is actually named after a Disney princess. Or, not named after. Yeah, it's named after a Disney princess, basically. So I'm going to have to change that. I'm not too happy about it, but, I mean, obviously, too, it's like... I'll just make it mean something of the same value, I guess. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not huge big of a deal. It's like, I didn't want to budge on that name, but I can. So, I don't think that there are, I think that there are a lot of different reasons why I want to work crowd work. Not exactly crowd work, but through a certain number of sources, be able to make my work original. And
Shit, that hurt.
it's like I don't want to think that those people in the crowd, or those people in the crowd of the audience that's of a potential place or thing that is showing what I've made, I don't think that that crowd in itself is going to be there, and I don't visualize that crowd yet, or even try to think about what those people are actually thinking about within that that area of or within the line of or mode of thinking. But I'm thinking about how I can wow a certain person, how I can wow myself. what I find appreciative and what other people find appreciative, what other people find amazing, or anything like that. And through that, I guess that I could crowd work some people's reactions to certain things. But also too, I don't want to just wow them, but I want to make them think. I don't want it to just create something that's aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but I want to make sure that as soon as they put it all together in their mind, that they start to realize or see something else that comes through. A metaphor that can be used as a branching tool to make sure that people themselves stay sociable and realize that being sociable and social is a good thing in some areas, in some people's lives. Not every person needs to be sociable. I mean, not every person wants to be sociable, or even social. Just realize that there are so many different ways to be able to think about a singular idea. There are so many different kinds of things to be able to realize within a thought process, or a thought bubble, or a thought or being able to come up with a conversation that's not only just compelling or in a certain way, but whatever tone you're thinking of it in could be in a way make sense. Because that's the thing that I don't understand about comic books, and I've never really liked about comic books either, is you cannot convey tone unless you see a picture. You cannot convey tone, even in some ways, realizing that awesome. I need to go, and I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff, and there are a lot of times when I second guessed myself, and through that second guessing, I found a new idea. I found something that could be used and made sure that I made
The smell of home cooking.
and made to look like a real idea, a real true to life idea. Like, metaphorically speaking, there's a metaphor in that idea, and that idea speaks to someone who wouldn't normally be thinking or speaking in that way. But also not something that just speaks to someone, but also something that absolutely and utterly entertains people. I really want to find something in my own life and in my own metaphor that can speak to the idea of something coming about that makes not only a story,
Oh, I am so sorry.
not only a societal story, not only something that is being built and fastened by society itself, but also is an opportunistic story. People can think and believe whatever they want to think and believe. What really goes on and what really people think about what people don't truly or heartfully understand about the reasons that things happen, or the reasons things go about, is through the importance of what you put on the objects in front of you. The importance you put on the people around you that know what they're doing and how they're doing it, and the way they should do it, or the way they could do it, is the way they want to. The way they feel like something in their life can make sense. The way that people express themselves through emotion toward an object or the thing that they find or hold dear. To be able to realize that that poetry in motion, or that life itself that creates poetry in some ways, or creates the words that comes out of your mouth that makes you believe and think in something a little bit better or bigger than yourself. Or not even just that, but understanding the notion that there are true, real,
If you ain't using it,
big, hearty, notions that come through whenever you're feeling something of true and utter, what's the word? Building response, like the response of building yourself into something that you want to be proud of. You find that, okay, I gotta do this and this and this, and this shirt is my favorite shirt. I'm gonna like this shirt forever. I'm gonna want this shirt until it comes around to the next time. I'm gonna buy another shirt just like it once it wears out. Being able to realize that something that makes you feel comfortable, or someone that makes you feel like you're at home, or not only at home, but that it doesn't matter if they don't understand you right now, that they will understand you, and they'll get what you're trying to say. Or at least they'll try. That's the notion of every single aspect of what I believe in. And every single piece of cloth or piece of material in which I endow to be mine own, or anything like that, or because I myself don't use my I don't treat my what is it, my
lucky miss.
my women like objects, I guess. And in true form, be able to understand and recollect.
Food, Frankie. Chairs hiding by that junction, so look out if you're hauling anything fun.
In true form, be able to recollect the notions of, or the biggest notions of being able to see through a guise, or or put on-ness of something. To be able to realize that through that object, or through that object's personification, you'll be able to take out a symptom, or a fabricated suture that someone put in your life that caused trauma, or basically fixing your problems through personification of objects.
Bullshit.
And that's basically what every single cartoon action figure, anything that you find any notion that you realize that it doesn't matter what company I mean, it does matter what company makes it, because obviously it doesn't want to be poisonous or anything like that, but also making sure you realize that that within every single notion of every life-changing event that's ever happened to you, that you can personify those life events and be able to feel okay about them, or feel okay about anything.
Get back here! Robbery! Call the cops! Oh, that hurt. Not those bikers again.
I just pit maneuvered a motorcycle. I'm awesome. A notion that builds absolute character and builds a whole bunch of different notions that you can build on from there. The realization that speculative narrative is a good thing for the soul and the imagination, and also if you were to believe in the soul, I mean, I don't, and I really don't believe in the soul, but the mind itself as an energy, or an energy consuming force, or parasite, I guess. That narrative itself could be brought about and to be given different personifications. As those personifications start to wean, or anything, that person themselves has to realize that they have to take another break again. They have to realize that energy inside of themselves builds up. And if they themselves don't take a break, or realize that they have to take a break, or just not turn themselves off, but change their narrative inside of their own head. To be able to calm or quell a storm that is brewing, or whatever is going on inside the storm of your mind. To be able to calm the storm of the mind is to be able to distract it, to be able to give it different variables, to be able to see what can't be seen by inaction, or make believe. And that's what I want to be able to create, something along those lines of the narrative. To be able to create something that kids themselves can love the world over, or adults can love as well, because of its intensity, just as much as its the story's intensity, just as much as the story's gentle or childlike nature, or innocence, I guess. I mean, the story itself is what you're trying to portray. So within that story, you're trying to create a narrative on something that's either happening, or did happen, or will happen if people aren't careful. And not only that, you're trying to create a narrative that's entertaining, that people themselves would enjoy to watch and be able to tell to their kids, or even show to their kids, or show to their friends, or show to their family members. And that's what I want to create. I really do want to create that. But also too, I want to create probably different versions of it. Not just different versions, but or different versions of that narrative, basically. Understanding that narrative is completely and utterly vague, but realize that that narrative can be something that's mine to be able to make, I guess. I don't know, you know? I just want to be able to create a story and be able to put it to something, to be able to make sure that that story itself can see the light of day. And I see other people making stories, and some I like, some I don't like, maybe based on their opinions or their facts or anything like that. I myself choose to be able to make something that is a narrative on top of what I've already created, or on top of something that I will create. I just think that there is something to be said about the world that people go to whenever they're creating something, or whenever they're doing something that's intensive, or not just intensive, but imaginative. And it creates a welling up of emotion inside of me that I kind of I really like. And I just looped around this lake twice, but it's okay. Or once, but it's okay. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna find a way to be able to go to this M. Right, right. When I find out that there are certain narratives that I find interesting that have taken a turn for the worst, or a turn for an upheaval, or like their character changes or anything like that, I look at it first. I don't judge it completely first. And within that judgment,
Put him up!
Oh, it's you?
What are you idiots up to, huh?
Мы здесь защищаем честь Америки. Это предназначено судьбою. Гордая страна, которая может совершить геноцид и назвать это волею Божьей.
Fella can't speak 2 words of English, but he knows this is the best country. Jesus! Hey, what's that? The illegals ruining the place. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Get in.
Rachen.
You still got that stun gun? Oh, good man. Always prepared.
Oh, the depths all troll for $500. You two are completely loco. If you'll forgive my use of Spanish, you do know what that means, right?
You spout all this hippie nonsense, but I know you're a patriot, Trevor. I can just tell by looking at you. We had our eye on this fella for a while. Illegal farming, bartering of goods, deep into a shadow economy. Okay, get me in close so I can incapacitate him humanely.
505.
Hey, Civil Border Patrol, keep your hands where I can see them. This is a citizen's arrest.
Not you lunatics again! You could have killed me!
Get in the vehicle now, sir!
Двигай!
Okay!
Citizens report a 417 in eastern Zancudo River.
Good work, boys. Now head for the cement factory. We got reports of more illegals working over there.
Where are you taking me? This is a kidnapping!
This is time for you to go home to Mexico, sir.
What are you talking
Terrible.
about? This is my home. I have my papers
so
right
bad.
here.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me see that.
Charles, dispatch to,
Из рук выскочили.
You won't get away with this. I'll report you.
You want to report me?
Are you sure this old man's a threat to American freedom?
Sure as I've ever been about anything.
Jesus, you're a real fuckwit.
backup required near, Stab City.
Border Patrol, nobody move! There, on the bike. Step on it, Trevor. Well, now that's an admission of guilt if I ever saw one. Probably cartel members or child molesters. For the love of God, Trevor, put your foot down.
Who the hell are you guys?
Who the hell are we? Well, we are... Look out! Well, we are American.
Whether people create stories to be able to make them true, or maybe their own, I guess, or maybe just to create a narrative within something they believe is funny, or stupid, or absurd, I guess. I really think that the people that made this video game are pretty retardedly hilarious. And I use retarded in the sense to be able... What's up? Okay.
We'll come back for him. Don't let the other one get away.
Citizens reporting 417 King in
I just farted.
South Chaparral.
Where's that? Also, the portal itself is actually explainable by science. People have no idea it's the portal itself insinuates that there are microbes being able to create it. Portal. I saw an article or a YouTube video that that said that
Come on, move. In the vehicle now. I said move or I will zap you again.
I'm getting in, okay? Crazy assholes!
Frame 14. Dispatch to the Grande Sonora Desert.
All right, fellas. Well, let's go back for the other one.
George 15.
I thought I had an irrational hatred for my fellow man, but you two are something else.
Please, I have a family!
Well, that ain't my problem, sir. You've outstayed your generous welcome offer to you by these here United States.
What? I have a visa! It's in my passport at my house!
Well, you exploited the cracks in the system. Look, I have nothing against you, personally. I'm not saying you can't come here for a vacation. You know, I went to Mexico once. I hated it.
Ты арестован за преступление против демократии!
God damn it, this is terrible.
Двигай, или я тебя заставлю двигаться! Go, go, fucker, go!
Take it easy. I'm going.
Henry 16. Dispatch to the Grande Sonora Desert. Okay, 503.
This is so terrible.
Well, good work, everyone. Thanks for the help, Trevor. You're a fine patriot. We'll take it from here.
No matter what, I think that that there are some certain aspects of the story that I'm going to be telling that are supposed to be funny, or absurdist in some ways. And that's the reason why I'm taking in as much as I can from this stupid story.
You're impeding national security, boy. We made Uncle Sam proud today.
How much money did I get? I think there's a
No way! Trust me, you don't want to carpool with me. Pinche! For
I think there's a big telltale reason why most stories themselves start to describe the same narrative, but also too, I think that people themselves get inspired, and if they do it on purpose, then I don't really respect them sometimes as an artist. But that's me. I'm an artist. It really doesn't matter what I think sometimes, because it really doesn't matter. I just think that as soon as people start realizing that sometimes some stories actually run along or mimic other stories, then they just start to become a little bit malaise-ish, or like like, oh, I've seen this shit before, sort of thing. It's not really checking any new bounds or going into another subject that or going to another subject that you would think is the notion that you'd want to lead someone along into. I don't know. You don't want a movie to be able to start a war, because that's in turn what sometimes movies do in some ways. But also too, people themselves who are terrible start wars. That's a notion too, because there are two different variables in that certain situation. So people and also things. But as I think about certain notions of digression, I'm also thinking about what character I'm gonna give him as his hair. What I'm gonna give as his hair, you know, what he's gonna.
You wanna play with me?
Nice. I didn't hit the brake. Oh man. I'm gonna go take a shower, and it's been an hour and 8 minutes. I'm good. So let's do this, and y'all have a good day, and make sure you're don't masturbate on a stage at a concert in New Zealand. Don't masturbate in a crowd, you know, or in my case, like over the levee. You know. I guess that's the reason. Religion itself kind of carries a notion with it. Is that forgiveness only comes when not guilt is felt. But I believe that some people believe that forgiveness only comes when shame is felt, because they themselves believe that to be a part of their religion. So don't really understand that it's a human emotion before it was ever a part of any religion. Shame is a notion of feeling degraded against, or because of a past action, or a
Ah, look at that!
Sneaky son of a bitch! Always room for one more! You wanna die too? Eat shit, bait! We ain't going...
Suspect last seen close to,
$5,000, baby. Yeah. Whee!
The suspect is in a car.
Yeah, amazing. $5,000. $5,000, baby. Got 5,000. Got $5,000 without trying. It's so awesome. I got $5,000. It's amazing. It's so awesome that I got it. It's so great.
A reckless driver north of the Redwood Lights motocross track.
But also, I mean, no matter what, if my business fails or doesn't fail or is a success, I'm always going to be trying to do something different and making a difference in my community. And that's the thing that I think matters most about actually starting a business or making a difference. I'm going to want to try to make sure that I can create something that my community and the people that I like are going to feel proud of. Not to just put something in a store or get something on a shelf. Not to say that anyone has ever done that, but my intentions is to create something that everyone can appreciate, even including myself, and feel proud about whenever I'm feeling low or feeling down. Because in a sense, it will be therapy for me whenever I'm older and gray. It will be being able to feel solace and a freshness or a newness or just maybe just even an ability to feel like I'm not alone, because I inspired more people than just myself. So that's what I'm aiming to do.
Units reporting a reckless driver east of Sandy Shores airstrip.
Don't do that again.
I think there's a big scary notion of people themselves going to adventure on their own. But I myself find it completely and utterly invigorating. I think that's the reason why I felt so amazing. I felt so amazed. Felt so awesome every single time I quit a job. Or in my earlier years got fired. But that only real reason was I didn't care about that job because I knew I had a trade. I knew I felt like I could create something on a freaking dime and be able to make something through to myself and be able to create that big notion or that big feeling of greatness, because I've been able to make an entire crowd of people go, wow, that was really amazing. And that was just in high school, so, but I know that I can recreate that situation, or not recreate that situation, but inspire a whole new bunch of people and make sure that they could say that is amazing. And then maybe through some sort of notion of being able to create some sort of visual therapy for people who, I guess, don't have it all the time. And
Suspect southbound in a red beach buggy.
But also too, I think that there are notions of I'd say that there are notions of a true greatness. When it comes to being able to create something that you yourself can feel proud of. There we go. Oh my god, I died. I'm gonna have to say too that my story isn't gonna be wrapped around any one person. It's gonna have a sort of main character, kind of, and then that main character is gonna split off, and not split off, but that main character's plot line or storyline is gonna be split off into like 4 or 5 different characters, and it's gonna feel great. It's gonna feel good, and they're gonna be people that not only went to a Call of Duty to be able to create a brighter future, but had a gift and or a curse put upon them, and through that gift or that curse that curse are able to create a brighter or better future for themselves and the people around them. And that's gonna be my story, I guess, for the most part. I gotta get this tractor off of a. Can't shoot the tires. But whenever you're building a story or story arc or a plot line or anything or any sort of thing, realize that if you create your story thinking that you're the only one that has it, do some research, you know? Do some research and realize that your characters have been talked about, like, because of the fact that you want to create something that's true or to the way you feel in life or the way you want to feel, the way you want to express yourself in any way. Realize that through that artistry, you're not creating a story, but you're creating a story that you've seen. You're creating a character arc that you've seen already 1,000 times, but a mix match up of different characters that you think are the epitome of what you think, but are in actuality an envisionment of someone else's psyche. And this is what I'm going to do in the last part, and I'm done. Let's see here. There we go. Alright, sticky bombs. You gotta put them on the tires. There we go. And alright. You got a leg thing. Alright. You gotta walk back. And here we go. Just wait for this car to pass by. There we go. Alright. I'm getting a blimp. I'm getting out of here.
Atomic Blimp Services, how can I help you?
Do you have any blimps available?
Of course, sir. I'll get one sent out to the nearest available drop-off point.
Amazing. You can order over the phone.
Thank you for your business. Call us anytime.
Citizens report a car on fire on Los Santos Freeway in the Grande Sonora Desert.
And the biggest part to realize is that nothing accents a great story than a tiny, tiny bit of absurdity. Just a tiny bit. Not a huge amount or anything like that. Just a tiny bit of absurdity. You see people with little quirks or little things like that. That actually sits well with what I want to be able to create. And I want to create so many things. And right now I'm in the infancy stages of an amazing thing. I'm trying to get a tax ID. I'm trying to do things that I need to do with the IRS, and I'm going to create a business that can publish or do something completely amazing. And I'm going to create something, and I'm going to create a website that accentuates that something. And also accentuates other people something that want to get something out or create something through a certain contract or a certain fee or anything like that. I'll be able to do something great and awesome, and that's what I want to do. And I'm vague enough to where I can actually talk about it, but I'm also in a market where it's so diluted and there's so many other people doing almost the exact same thing that there's a competitive market, and I'd be completely and happily accepted among them. So, there you go. America, daughter. America.